Hello and warm welcome to Agric today on Arcn television, Mabushi, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Uluwatoyin Amin. On today's episode of Agric today, we shall be taking a look at the visit of the Spanish Corporation to the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria as Executive Secretary, Dr. Abubakar Deban. At the visit, the need to strengthen the existing collaboration with the council was brought to the fore. Let's go into the meeting and see for more details. The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Arcn, has received the Spanish Corporation. The leader of the delegation, Beatriz Novalon, said the aim of the visit is to inform the council of their collaboration with the Regional Center of Excellence in Aquaculture on women empowerment, which is domiciled in the Arcn.
Why we talk with Paula Cande, our focal point in ARA, and he managed to organize the visit with alongside Dr. Charity in the fisheries. And after that, because our main interest for next week is because one of our directors from our headquarters are coming next week, and we want to show them, apart from all the rest of the project, want to show them our work or how we can work in aquaculture sector. And we thought that it could be really interesting to pay you a visit next week with them, so you can show them how you work and how we can collaborate, and especially the relevance of aquaculture right now in the region.
The Executive Secretary and management staff, as well as members of the Regional Center of Excellence, expressed appreciation for the visit.
Quality and culture. You will never regret collaborating with us. Try us and you see what we can give you.
The coordinator of the Regional Center of Excellence in Aquaculture, Dr. Charity Obeta, expressed her gratitude for the collaboration. She reiterates that it came at a time it was needed by many Nigerian youth and women. She added that the center strengthens the aquaculture value chain by empowering youth and women in all areas along the value chain, such as fish seed production, table fish production, processing trade, feed production, amongst others.
Fish for a long time before it rots, then so they'll be able to sell and make their profit. Then we have people who also process the fish. Just like if you don't want to sell it at a giveaway price because of feeding the fish, you could process it. So we have them in our value chain. Then we have those who are producing the young fish, because those whose work is just to grow out the fish to table size, but they cannot hatch, they cannot produce. So we have those who are breeding and producing the young fish. So all of this, and even we have those who are transporting. So all this make up the aquaculture value chain. So during our training, we made sure that all those areas were touched. Yeah, and mostly, women are in charge of processing and even trade. All of them were here during the training. And then we had fish farmers who were producing the table size but could not hatch the fish. So they were all here during the training. Then we also had those who were struggling with feeding the fish. They cannot produce their own farm fish. So we had training also in feed formulation. And this time around, the previous one that we just held, to make it interesting, we introduced something very special, which is non-conventional fish feed. Non-conventional fish feed are the things that you can easily produce on farm with waste material. Yeah, for example, like the black soldier fly larvae we're talking about, and the maggots, which you could just produce and feed the fish without so much spending money, because many people are out of fish business today because of the high exchange rate and the expensive fish feed, the high cost of fish feed. So that was why we brought that, so that people could produce their own farm feed, like black soldier fly larvae, even the housefly maggots, the duckweed, and even snails, even toads sometimes, to feed their fish, just to make it sustainable. So these are the things the value chain, the areas that we touched. So this time around, we want to focus so much on black soldier fly larvae because it is very easy to produce, and it has very high nutrient profile, very proteinous. One could even feed it directly to the fish even without processing. For those who farm tilapia, they could process mill it and add it to the component, the proteinous component of the fish feed, instead of getting the fish meal. You know what makes fish feed very expensive is the high cost of feed meal, which is usually imported. So our black soldier fly larvae can compete favorably with the fish meal that is being imported. So by the time we train people on this, they are able to get their own on-farm feed, and you see that the cost of production will be less. Okay, so right now we are not doing it alone. Just like you mentioned, we have two fisheries-based research institutions. One is manning the brackish and marine water resources, the research into the fish species and even the ecology and of the water resources. And then we have one that is handling the freshwater fish that is in Kainji, in New Busa, in Niger State, which I told you. Yeah. So they are all interested in catfish or the freshwater fish. We have so many, apart from catfish, because it has been recorded that Nigeria is mostly catfish based. 80%, more than 80% of fish produced in Nigeria is catfish. So we are trying to diversify to see how we can get other good species like the latest niloticus, latest the back red belly pack, the cap, all those cap. Yeah, we see how diversify to that. So this freshwater fisheries research is actually trying to see how we can get some more species introduced. So apart from the catfish, they are training people on how to raise other categories of fish. So the Neoma that is basically on freshwater, on the marine and brackish water, they're also bringing in, apart from the tilapia, they're bringing in some shrimps. We have some species of shrimps they are promoting. There we have very gigantic shrimp they call Oreochromi Macrobranchium volohenveni. Is found around the southern. So we also have some. We have Peneus monodon, an exotic species that were found in our coastal area recently, which are also trying to promote and also teach people how to produce such capital projects. So, and that was why the center was just lying low for some time until recently that CORAF and ECOWAS just sprang up and said, okay, let's see how we can, boost these centers and then boost the trend because of the high level of migration and unemployment around the African countries. So, okay, let's use these centers to boost the economic development of these African countries through training of the youth and women. So these are little funds, but we're very, very open because if we have funds, we'll do a lot, just like he said. We have a lot to do and a lot to cover. Now that ECOWAS is funding 200, what is 200 to how many millions Nigeria? So we're just funding 200 youth. So we're really open for more collaboration so we can see how we can reach as many people as possible because aquaculture is a promising venture because it's one of the fast-growing food industries in the world globally. Yes, so it promises high economic development. And many youth are interested in aquaculture because of because if you go farming, other kinds, they are afraid of drudge, as in, yes, hard work kind of. But aquaculture is somehow flexible and they can maintain.
Dr. Aliyu Shuaibu Madugu, Director Planning, Research and Statistics of the Council, also took the cooperation and memory lane of programs which has been beneficial to the sector through the Arcn's Agricultural Research and Development, which in turn leads to Nigeria's Food Sustainability Initiative.
For such exercises. Now, for some people who have been trained, fortunately, they had gone onto their businesses. But you see, certainly there's what we call technical backup, and as well also follow-up to get the feedback. How many people have you trained? And so far, how many people are into the practice of your training? Now, you may train 100 people, but if you are able to go back into survey to check after the training, how many of these people are now practicing aquaculture? Can you say in terms of their rate of percentage, what is the successes they are recording in terms of their practices? Those things also are being denied, and we are not able to carry out some of these things because it also needs certain funding
Yeah.
to actually conduct this. Certainly, the council as it is, and even our research institute, depend mainly on our normal annual budgetary allocation as source of funding. And well, the reality is that even the budgetary funding is highly competitive. You have some funds, yes, allocated, yes, appropriated to you, but when it comes to releases, how much of such money are you able to access to actually conduct some of these activities you have planned for? And these are some of our limitations when it comes to following up to get records of what we have done and what are successful. So that you have come, it is a good thing. She will tell us more details of FASA. That has to do with the issue of fish feed, because those are part of the things that are making fish production more expensive. You could have your fingerlings very qualitative, but fingerlings, fish production is not when you get your fingerlings today, tomorrow you harvest. No, you feed them for a period. So for poor farmers, how long will it take them to feed? So how can we look at getting them cheaper source of feed, so that at least a farmer, ordinary farmer, could keep his fish and still grow them within the fast level rate and make profits out of his business. Because if he spends more of the money on feed and he decides to harvest and gets to market, if it is too expensive, it's a competitive market. Somebody who is able to produce at low cost will sell his first. And so to encourage people is also to make them have access to market. So, and I'm sure that she could say that this is just the brief I could give you so far, what the council is doing. I have just mentioned, we have, the council coordinates everything regarding agricultural research. And indeed, agricultural research, or let me say agriculture in general, is sectors into three. We have the livestock, we have the crops, and we have the fisheries, all coming together to form what is called the agriculture. So under the council here, we have 32 agencies under our purview, 16 research institutions, and 17 federal colleges of agriculture. Yeah, we upgraded yesterday to 17 because we commissioned the new one of the new colleges approved by the government, Federal College of Agriculture, Kirikasama. That one is in Jigawa State, and just yesterday, the pioneer chief executive was appointed, and then so that they could start up and be running up their program. So out of this, we have 3 fisheries colleges, and we have 2 fisheries-based research institute. The colleges are actually training middle-level manpower. Now, they train people who are technical and becoming experienced in terms of everything that had to do with fisheries and aquaculture, whether artisanal, whether aquaculture. Those are the people we train middle level. And then going by our research institute, they research into upgrading the fish species, taking records of fish species we have both in our fresh and marine and brackish water. Now, yes, both fresh water, marine, and then brackish water. We looked at the institute in Lagos, basically look at marine and brackish water to know the fish species around, and they conduct that survey after a period to know whether the number and those species still exist or they've gone into extinction. If there are new species that have emanated, let them know, and those records are being kept. Similarly with our freshwater, and that is why we have an institute for freshwater. And for the freshwater institute, for the basis of those people who are into aquaculture, what they do is that they also improve our species genetically. So there is genetic improvement in our fish species to withstand the rudiment of aquaculture itself. Because now you are removing them from their natural environment and you are bringing them into an artificial environment that mimics what is in the natural. So, but you could still have certain differences. And so these are what our research institutes do. And then we do that so that farmers could have better and more quality fingerlings for their production, as well as have cheaper feed for production. Work with CORAF with little fundings that are coming in terms of trainings, in terms of everything. And then lastly, the current FASA project I'm talking about that the World Fish is financing through the Norwegian government. This one is Norwegian government, and through the Norwegian government, that one is still active. Currently, it is still on. And she is the coordinator who is handling that project right now. Interested into aquaculture. And then we have observed Many people could have their resources and they intend to go into such farming without knowing the technicality involved. They start operating after some months or after the first 3 cycles, they fold up. And then the whole thing closed up. And when you ask them, they will tell you they are operating at loss. But what was, why are they operating at loss when other people are making profit? So it's because they don't know the technicality of the production. And so that is what they have been taught during the training. Where if I'm selling yam, for instance, I only put 5 tubers of yam in a heap and another 5 tubers here. They may not be of equal weight, but they are taking the same price. And then if you are going to the market also to buy, let's say, some grains or dry cereals, for instance, if I'm buying maize, and it's a measure. This measure may not be equal to the next measure. But for aquaculture, we go by weight. So just the kg as it is being produced. So certainly, some women will go for a particular weight, and then they will mop up that farm. And what they do is to add value. What the value addition do? They smoke the fish. They salt it and smoke it. When they and when you smoke fish, number one, the preservation, it stays longer in the shelf. And for African delicacy, most of our women like cooking with smoked fish because there is this aroma and taste it gives. I don't know how long you have stayed in Nigeria, but maybe if you have tested a soup that is actually that actually have been prepared with a well-smoked fish. In fact, your taste buds will actually testify that for that day. So most women will go into that business. We've seen that around a village we call Munai in around the New Busa Kainji area. It is a village not too far from the river Niger. And what the men mostly go into aquaculture itself, and even people from artisanal fishing, the women mop up those and they have a place. So when we had that project, the support we were able to give the women was that we saw their system of smoking was actually not much hygienic, and as well as the palatability wouldn't be good. The fact is that they smoked using the local smoking system, which may make the fishes have some taste of sands, and because of that, when you come, no matter how much you clean it and you cook it in your soup, as you are eating, you feel some stony signs. So we had to upgrade their processing center. We had a unified processing center for them, where we had it at the long shave, and then installed some smoking kiln for them, where the smoking kiln is an automatic one now that our institutes have generated, where they could only ask for charcoals or brisket, and then use briquettes, and then use that to at least smoke their fish. Now with that, number one, the cleaning system, they have a better table to clean up this and then do the production proper. And so one became more hygienic, and for any other person that will consume, at that point I could take their fish, and from there I can start eating a very well smoked fish like that as a snack, without necessarily putting it or to boil it or cook to say I'm killing anything. That I'm sure that the hygiene system of production is better. So these are areas we have supported those women because we've already met them into that business. And so we looked at, okay, what can we do to upgrade their business? And after that, I'm assuring you, I don't know, it's long we have checked that record. And because of this insecurity issue, because the area is now part of the area affected by insecurity, so nobody is willing to go there to conduct any survey. I will tell you that before the insecurity matter, heaps of vehicles go in that village weekly to move out cartons of smoked fish out for sales. Yes. And so we are so proud of that. If you had gone through the success stories of the project we had, where I said also the Spanish grant was part of it, if you have gone through the success story of that project, you will see all of these things I'm mentioning. The bank had the records, the World Bank had the records for that, what we have done so far, and how much achievement we're able to bring. Yes, we are still proud to be talking about aquaculture today, because like I told you, that was like a booster. Because after that, it opened up the eye of so many into aquaculture. But the difficulty right now with farmers, like I said, the difficulty right now is the issue of feed. The issue of fingerling have actually been addressed to a certain level, because you know, as a Nigerian, if you want to go into fish farming today, you easily know where you could get your quality fingerlings. But even if you know where to get quality feed, the expense of the feed is high. And so that is what the project she's handling now is trying to address. How can we make fish feed cheap for farmers to be able to afford and buy? Now, we want to increase the profit margin for a fish farmer because that will encourage many people to come into it. It is no use I spend my labor for 4 5 months raising fish, and then by the time I take to market, the profit margin is just very little, and then or none at all, or I'm only recovering my capital, and then at the end of the day, when I also look at cost of labor, it's like I really did not profit much. You see, if I'm taking loan from him to run that business, so at the end of the day, after the whole event, if I pay him back the loan, I'm left with nothing. So we want to address that issue of fish feed so that at the end of the day, any farmer that goes into fish farming, the profit margin is high for him. If it is loan, he's taken either from a bank or from anywhere or from individuals to run into the business. At the end of the business, you should be able to refund the loan and still have some resources to go into another cycle of production. Yes, these are some of the.
So those feed are highly expensive, so we avoid them. Things like maize, yes, highly competitive. So we look at the maize offal, the waste that come from maize, rather. So we look at the waste like peels, cassava peels. Of course, even though cassava is a competitive human consume, but the peels, the humans do not eat. So we look at the peels. What can come out of the peels? We look at the plantain peels too that are thrown away, the banana peels. So all those waste and the bambara nut, the bambara nut. Then we have the tiger nut. People drink a lot of beverages, tiger nut beverage, and they look at the waste that comes from it, and they will also look at the what is it called? The shea butter. The central part of Nigeria is blessed with this heart tree that produces shea butter. Shea butter, so we get the shea after the oil. You make it out of oil, so we get the cake that come out from the oil. So all this waste is not only using the waste. We have to see the best way to process, because some farmers will just go there and grind and mix. So there are so many processing techniques that if you don't do, you may not get out the nutrients, because what you are looking at is the nutrients. So these were actually collected, sent to Malaysia and Sweden. We are also partnering with the Agricultural Science University in Sweden, University of SLU, University of Agricultural Sciences. So we sent some of these samples for them to analyze, to know the digestibility. Can fish digest this, and what quality of nutrient can we get from it, and how do we process to get those nutrients?
With the Regional Center of Excellence in Aquaculture being situated in the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, it is very hopeful that these initiatives being brought to the fore by the Spanish Corporation is going to trickle down to the youth and women in the area of aquaculture development and, of course, food sustainability drive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. On this note, we say thank you for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our page on YouTube as well as our social media handle at Arcn TV and radio. I remain your host, Khadija Oluwatoyin Amin, saying bye for now.